And you know what? There will be Warren Buffetts over the next 40 years. There'll be maybe 5 or 6 of them. Could very well be. But as you said, I don't know who they are, you don't know who they are, and when you try to go for them, you're much more likely to be on the negative side of the distribution, and you're going to be a loser. So index investing isn't mediocre, it isn't average, it's way above average.
Yeah, well,
one place that I would differ slightly from you, Bert, same conclusion. You say you would only get half as much if you went active as opposed to index. I'd just like to turn it around and say the other way. You get twice as much at the end of the run.
I won't argue with you at all.
Instead of
won't argue with you at all, Charlie.
Well, I'll tell you guys, this is great because you know, my background is in software as an engineer, and I focused on human-computer interaction. But I'll tell you, after joining Wealthfront, finding ways to explain to people that 1 to 2% is actually a really big number is one of the hardest problems that I've run into.
Say that to a balloon that meets a pin. Beautiful big balloon, one tiny little pin.
Albert Einstein said that compounding is the greatest force in the world. Well, the costs compound too, and that's what gets you.
Yeah.
Now, before we leave it, could we just all agree that nobody should ever use credit card debt? Because not only is that a big interest, but boy, when that compounds, it really goes.
Yeah, when people find out that debt compounds just the same way with much bigger interest rates, it's usually a real depressing outcome.
Wow.
So great. So I think in terms of time, we wanted to leave some time for folks to ask questions. We have microphones set up for the folks who are watching remotely. Feel free, and I'll just call on folks. Maybe your name and who the question's for.
Sure. My name's David. A question for Bert. So you said earlier you can control the taxes that you pay. I'd love to know how.
Basically, you can control the taxes by something that's called tax loss harvesting. If you have a portfolio, let's say that you just have a portfolio of U.S. stocks, or even U.S. technology stocks, and it's an index. There are always going to be a few of those stocks that have gone down. You've got Google that's gone up. You have Groupon that went down. So what you do in tax loss harvesting is that you sell the loser and put an equivalent one in. And we can do this with index funds. We have a diversified portfolio of U.S. stocks, of international stocks, of developed countries, of emerging market stocks, of foreign bonds. In other words, we've got a whole bunch of asset classes. So in a period such as this past year, where the U.S. stock market has gone way up, but emerging markets have actually gone down. Emerging markets have been weak this year. You sell one emerging market index fund and buy another, so you keep the exposure, but you recognize a loss, and that loss is deductible from your taxes up to a certain amount, or could be used to offset other capital gains. So it's the harvesting of the losses that is a way of controlling your taxes. And again, up to a certain amount, even if you had no other capital gains, you could deduct this on your 1040 for the year.
This is one